Hey, welcome to the Mission Podcast. I'm your show host, Brian Butler. I'm honored today to have with me Jonna Martin. I had the honor of hearing Jonna do a training in which she talked about mental health awareness, and the topic mental health first aid. And that was something I hadn't heard of. So I said, I got to have this young lady on the show. Her background is awesome. Jonna, welcome to the Mission. How are you today?
Thank you. Thank you. I'm good. It's been a good day. Yeah, I had therapy this morning actually, so it's perfect for coming into this.
That is a perfect segue right into, we're just gonna jump right in. Let's go. I
Sure,
love it.
yeah.
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 So you mentioned therapy. You had therapy today. What do you seek the therapy for, if you don't mind me asking?
Yeah, so it's whatever's I go weekly just about because I was diagnosed with ADHD when I was very young. I was very lucky in that case, and that my mom did not want me to be medicated as a child.
Okay.
So I was immediately put into like early intervention therapy, cognitive behavioral therapy, which is just like teaching coping mechanisms for the way that your brain works, which can be differently than the way other people's brain works. So I was very fortunate to get into therapy at a young age. And so in times of my life when I felt like I needed to go back, like in college and in high school, and then now like as an adult with a career that can afford it, it's been really, really great just for grounding. And I just feel like it's so important for everyone to have one person in their life who's not involved in any other way but this one way, and you can communicate with them in a safe manner to where you don't have to worry about any of their biases or preconceived notions in any other ways. Like, it's just a safe space for you to vent and say things that you can't really say to other people in your life because of one reason or another.
Yeah.
So what I look for in therapy is really just like a sounding board. Like,
Sure.
This happened and I reacted this way, but I felt like I could have reacted this way, or, the other person reacted this way. How can I do better next time? Or what should what could I have done differently? Or what could have gone, it's just kind of like one of those where I tell her what's gone on through the week, how stuff has made me feel, any big changes or stuff like that. We talk about relationships too. It doesn't have to be, it's only an hour, so you don't have that much time. And that's why I go weekly, is because I got a lot to talk about.
That's interesting because, there's some thought out there that we all could use therapy, that we all need a sounding board, that we all have hidden traumas that we don't even know that we've experienced. So when I heard your presentation, we talked about, you talked about mental health first aid, and it made it, you highlighted things that people could do, and therapy is one of them, right? But you also talked about, a number of things people could do to protect their mental health. What were some of those things that you highlighted?
So it's pretty much just like knowing yourself and your body, because a big part of it is how can you get out of the mindset that you're in right now and into a completely different, like, let's just change gears completely and revisit this when we're feeling a little bit more, calm, put together, however you want to put it. That's a big thing, is like trying to take a pause and redirecting that energy, especially when it's like, someone with maybe like that tends to have angry outbursts and they'll break things, throw things. Like, you're going to have that energy, and it's going to, like, obviously you're doing something with it and that makes you feel better at the time, but try to do something that's not destructive. Maybe go for a run or do like 50 push-ups or something else where you can get that energy out, redirect it. And doing something physical and tangible is typically another really good thing, of like, this is something that's right in front of me that's distracting my brain from the current situation. And no, that does not mean it's gone away, but it means that maybe I'll be able to better handle it mentally in a minute after I take care of myself. But yeah, it can be something from like reading a book, going for a walk, listening to music that makes you happy,
Right.
coloring, drawing, expressing yourself in a creative way is a really good way, whether that's like journaling or, like I said, drawing, painting, something tangible typically is one you can see, like, okay, I do create good things. I am worthy. You have that tangible thing in front of you that you've created. But two, it's really like that physical way of distracting your brain and getting your train of thought on a different track.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
You mentioned music, and
Yeah.
I don't think people realize how hypnotizing music is,
Mm-hmm.
and it can be good and or it could be bad. If
Mm-hmm.
you are listening, music really does affect your mood. If you are
Mm-hmm.
sad and you are listening to sad music, you're going to
Yeah.
get sadder. I don't think people realize what you're listening to goes directly into your mind, and
Yeah.
it can just reinforce your thoughts.
Yeah, absolutely. And there are times when it can be good. Like if you don't know how to express your feeling, you just know you want to go listen to like I Don't F With You by Big Sean or something like that. Like
Yeah.
that can be a way to be like, okay, yes, I'm not in a good headspace, but I can use this music to like power me through this. Or like
Mm.
if you're feeling sad and you just want to listen to like Viva La Vida by Coldplay for a little bit to like feel your feelings, then I think that's okay too. I think the problem is when it's like you're only listening to these sad songs for like 10 hours straight and you're
Right.
just not, obviously the like over, obsessing over those types of things for sure can be like damaging because at one point like you really have to realize that like you are in control of that mindset. And yes,
Mm.
some days it can be harder or easier to gain control of that mindset, but ultimately, like, it's all you. So, like,
Yes.
if you're not feeling happy in your life, if you're not feeling fulfilled, like, you're in control. Like, yes, there
Yes.
are there are circumstances that may be affecting you. I 100% agree, but you should always be like I don't want to get into like the toxic positivity, but it really is like the mindset of, yes, this really stinks right now, but it will be okay. I will get through this, like reassuring yourself, like acknowledging the, bad situation that you're in is important and not just like, I'm not going to think about this. I'm going to be happy and choose to look at all the happiness and ignore all the sadness. Like, that's not the way to do it. It's really about feeling those feelings and moving through them and letting them go as they're
Yeah.
supposed to go because they're not supposed to be sticking around for
Yeah.
years and years.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're
It's
like
interesting because
visitors passing through.
yeah, that's awesome. I love it. How you mentioned that we are in control, and a lot of times I think even for myself and people in general, we kind of don't realize that feelings come and go, moods come and go. Um, what is here today may be gone tomorrow. It's all temporary, and but you can change your state. It
Yeah.
really is real. Just smiling. If you're not feeling good, you just smile
Mm-hmm.
and you feel better. You know,
Yeah.
we are in control. So that's powerful that you said it, because I think a lot of times we surrender our control to the environment or to other
Yeah.
people. We allow people to change our state if they're negative. But
Mm.
we're in control. And
Yeah, giving people control over your emotions. It can be so easy to every time someone walks by, just, oh my gosh, I can't believe that person's here. But it can also be so easy to just not even look at them.
yeah,
Not, like you can't let them have that control over you because ultimately, like, they don't deserve that. You deserve that. You deserve
yes,
to have control over your emotions. And it may not feel like there's anything you can do, but there's always at least one thing that you can do for yourself to feel a little bit better
yeah,
about the situation. Like that smiling thing is real. I think the study was like people that smiled for 30 seconds admitted that they could feel a positive change in their mood no matter what it
yeah,
was. It actually had an effect just because you're doing it. It's that muscle memory, I'm sure, or something.
Yeah. So one of the things I wrote down, because I took some notes on your teachings,
Cool.
was massage and exercise, right?
I was hoping we talk about exercise on your podcast.
We're there. We're there right now.
Yeah, because that's
We're
something
here.
that I don't do enough of. That's
Yeah.
definitely something that like I know that it would help my mental health more, but I have a really hard time with routines. And for some
Mm,
reason, like that holds me back from like going to the gym. It's like a mental block. But I know
okay.
and like it's proven that when I feel, when I do go on walks or when I'm out at camp and I'm automatically more active, I'm like automatically feeling better.
Yes.
And that's why, one of our coworkers has started that walking club.
Right.
It's for us to really have that time to check in with ourselves and walking, because that exercise is really beneficial for like one, you having that like time to yourself in your head.
Yeah.
And two, just like I said, that the physical aspect of, you know, psychology is really like, if you're getting that energy out, you're having a routine for yourself and your body, and you're following your like, circadian rhythms and everything like that. So getting good sleep
Mm-hmm.
and taking care of yourself in that way, it makes your brain's job a lot easier, because
Mm,
you're getting all the, and you're eating healthy is another one too. You're getting all those vitamins and minerals and exercise. And so you're taking care of your body, which is making your brain's job easier. I've really found that just like making sure I'm not eating too early or too late. I'm not necessarily counting the calories, but keeping track of like, no, I've had a lot of sugar today. Like, I don't need to eat any more sugar. Or like,
yeah.
I haven't really had any protein today. I really need to make sure I get
Mm,
some protein at dinner.
very
Just
key.
keeping it to where I'm keeping track of myself, but it's not like anything too stringent where if I don't follow it, I'm like mad about it. You
Right.
know what I
Yeah.
mean?
No, that's great. That's a great
Yeah.
plan. And basics for me, basics
Mhm.
is, you mentioned, you touched all, you hit on all the basics. Get a good amount of protein. Don't eat too late. I don't like to eat too many times a day. Try to eat,
Mhm.
whole foods, right? Try to
Mhm.
try to eat one ingredient foods as much as we can. Cut down on the carbs, cut down on the sugar. And
Yeah.
if we do those things, our body is going to thank us, and our mind too, because
Yeah.
the better food we put in,
Mhm.
the better nourishment we have, the better we're
Mhm.
feeding our brain, right? So
Yeah, absolutely.
I think you're spot on with what you're doing, and
Yeah, and I think that's important that a lot of people don't talk about, because I feel like a lot of the health and gym culture is like, you need to go 3 times a week, you need to strictly follow this diet, you need to do all these things, or you're not doing it right.
mm,
And I've seen a lot of creators like that.
yeah,
And I feel like it can be exclusive to the people that like their brain just doesn't work that way. And
yeah,
so it really just needs to be about finding what works best for you, to where you are happy and healthy and you're not overexerting yourself, but you're not, you're in a sweet spot of like taking care of yourself.
you talk about sleep. I mean, probably a lot of our problems is lack of sleep.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah. Well, because when you're not getting the right amount of sleep, your brain is not able to catch up for the day.
mm,
So, like, if you're only getting 2 to 3 hours, your brain's not really able to go into that REM sleep, which is like the deep time when your brain's like resetting, basically, when you're like dreaming and stuff. So yeah, if you're not getting that sleep, then your brain is just, it can still be on, the anxiety from the day before. Yeah, it's, if you're not getting the right amount of sleep, like that's the very first thing. And it's a big thing with summer camp and me, is I really have to be so diligent, because you're on from the moment you're out there to the moment you leave. And my role as camp director, like I'm the top guy, so there's nobody, I can call Rachel above me, but like you're the one solving the problems, boots on the ground. And so if you're not taking care of yourself, how can you take care of other people? So you have to delegate, like, okay, I'm going to go to sleep, blah, blah, blah is going to cover the night watch. Wake me up if you really have to, but like I really needed to get sleep. And if I didn't get enough sleep, I would make sure I went and got a nap to
mm,
try and recover just some of that energy, even if it's just like 25, 26 minutes.
Yeah.
Just something to where I'm getting that rest, and not even necessarily like going to sleep, but just being still and like intentional with my thoughts, and trying to slow them down, not necessarily meditating, but like just trying to slow it all down and really focus on like my breathing and resting and recovering.
Yeah.
So
I love that, because it's almost like you have to fill your cup in order to fill other people's, right?
100%.
That's
100%.
Well, Miss Martin, this has been excellent. I'm so thankful for you joining me today on the Welcome to the Mission podcast. As we exit, what would be, if you had an elevator speech to someone about their mental health and protecting it, what would that elevator speech be? Go.
I think protecting your peace and making sure you're not letting anyone have control over your emotions that shouldn't. I think that paying attention to your body is really important. So if your body's telling you to stop, you need to stop and rest.
Mm-hmm.
And you cannot take care of other people if you're not taking care of yourself. I think that really is the biggest thing. Is you may try to take care of other people, but you're just going to run yourself into the ground if you're not taking care of yourself.
Yeah.
I think those are my biggest thing, like takeaways from everything.
I love it. That is all great. Well, thank you so much. I know that the viewers are going to get a lot out of this.
You think so?
I think so. 100%.
Okay. I'll be watching the engagement. Don't worry.
When we look at the world today, a lot of the problems that people have, it's mental. They're mental problems, right? And it's all about mental health. So
yeah, well, and the way that people like interact with other people is all based on, how they're feeling. Yeah, I think if people were more in tune with their mental health and themselves, I think the world would be a better place. But
definitely,
it'll come in time.
It will come in time. So,
yeah.
All right. Thank you, ma'am.
Of course. It's been wonderful. Thank you for having me, Brian.